What would you say leadership for you has been so far with what you've done in IPAC?
Yes, I think it is important to know why we started Interparty Advisory Council in Nigeria. When I was the head of election monitoring team of West Africa in neighboring Ghana, Republic of Ghana, I was amazed with what I saw. I saw the level of electioneering and the level of participation of political parties and the political class. Democracy was a little bit higher than we had in Nigeria, despite the fact that Nigeria is more populous and richer nation. So I had to make inquiries. I sought audience with the then chairman of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Dr. Afregan, who told me exactly the magic wand. And we discovered that what happened in Ghana is that there is an inter-party advisory council where the commission consults with the political parties before they take any decision. All guidelines for election and electioneering is discussed with leaders of political parties before the electoral commission takes a decision. And once they take a decision, every of the political parties go home and own that decision. They talk to the masses who are the major members of the political parties, and you find out that because of the fact that they made input before the decision was taken, it becomes like their own, decision, their own guideline. And we saw that election and electioneering processes in Ghana was higher than what we had in Nigeria. So when I came back to Nigeria, I sought audience with our own chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Morrissey, and he bought the idea, told members of the commission, national commissioners about it. They bought the idea and we started it. And the people felt that since I was the man who went to Ghana and saw how it is done, that I should be the first to lead. And it was supposed to be an ombudsman, apart from the fact that we talk about how to deepen democracy in Nigeria or in Africa. It was also supposed to, be a body that disciplines erring political parties, like the way the NCJ, the National Judicial Commission, do. What they do to judges and lawyers, discipline them. The Inter-Party Advisory Council was supposed to be a council that also discipline politicians. People are involved in vote buying today. People are involved in corruption. People are involved in falsification of results and all that. That's part of the job. That's the initial concept of Inter-Party Advisory Council. But many years have gone by. It's no longer what we, the founding fathers, felt it is. But having said that, it is important to also say that Nigeria is developing. Our election in 2015 was adjudged to be better than previous elections, and we do hope that election in 2019 should be better than 2015 general election.
Okay, you've spoken so much about IPAC. I was about throwing the question to you to say, compared to when you came in with the ideas for IPAC, what would you say it has been for you over time? I was at INEC the last time where they had a meetings with political parties, and there's this clash. What would you say about that?
Yes, that was part of the reason why some of us who are what we call ranking members of the Inter-Party Advisory Council have taken a little backseat. That's not the concept. It is not supposed to be an organization where government will interfere or where some other people for peculiar reasons will interfere. That's what you see. At the time we left the position, you found out that there were factionalizations, which was not supposed to be like that. And a government of each day want to have a control of the Inter-Party Advisory Council. This is what has brought the polarity you see in the management and the leadership of Inter-Party Advisory Council is not too good. I am aware that election was held some months back, about August, and candidates emerged. Others said that it is not the rightful candidate. People were sworn in. They say they don't support all of that. But that is not an issue. It is neither here nor there. The lifetime of each leader leadership of Inter-Party Advisory Council is just 12 months, and 12 months is not too long a time. People should concentrate on what they can do for the nation than what they would do for themselves. And it has affected the way political parties interface with the Independent National Electoral Commission. Once the Independent National Electoral Commission discovered that there's division in the leadership of a body, particularly the Inter-Party Advisory Council, they cash in on it and do most of the things they'll do. If I am the chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, what happened in the last meeting with Independent National Electoral Commission will not happen. It was unthinkable for INEC to come and hand down guidelines without consulting political parties. INEC exists because of political parties. There won't be any need to have an electoral commission if there is no political parties. And of late, it is Independent National Electoral Commission that has raised the bar, raised the number of political parties from 29 or 30 it used to be to 91. So why are you registering the political party if you cannot consult with them? For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are now seeing more than 70 people run for the office of president. It has never happened in this country before. You must consult them because these are stakeholders in the political equation in Nigeria. You must consult them before you take decisions, and that is why about 61 political parties said, no, you did not consult us. This is not what we agreed on, and for that reason, we're not going to support you. So I think that it is an indictment on leadership. It is not the way to go. And people who find themselves in positions of authority, be it chairman of Nigerian Bar Association, be it chairman of Nigerian Medical Association or engineering, registered engineers of Nigeria, or any professional body, should be able to be assertive, should be able to be decisive on what they want, and should be able to command respect so that the bodies that interface with them will be able to recognize and respect them.
So are you saying that the 61 political parties right now don't support the guidelines INEC has finally pushed out to the people?
Thereafter they set up a committee to amend some aspect of it. We are waiting for official announcement from INEC that those areas have been touched and amended. Even some statesmen in this country are talking about it. And if a standard was used in 2015 to conduct an election, and the international community felt that to a very large extent that election is free and fair, and in 2019 you're taking 10 steps backward, I don't think it is proper. The right thing should be done, because I am one of the people who feel that it is important for people to know the number of people that are going to be voting in a particular unit before voting commences. It will erase fears, it will erase suspicion that people already have an idea of what it is. If there will be some changes, it could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. But a situation where you just go into a dark room without knowing where the chairs and the bench are, there's you're bound to have some domestic accidents.
Okay, let's look at INEC. Since we're talking IPAC, would you say there's level playing field right now for women and youth? With most of the political parties, we have 91 registered political parties ahead of the election, and so much talk. Some people don't even know these parties.
Yes.
Is there a level playing field for women and youth, or the whole party, internal democracy?
No, say one thing: the way political parties operate. And I want to say this. It doesn't sound very pleasant, but it's good to hear. Political parties have two major, objective. One is to participate in activism, to change the mantra, to deepen democracy. The other one is to run for election and have access to power. Political parties are mere platform to get power. And for you to select somebody who is going to go into a contestation with another person of another political party, there are a whole lot of considerations, popularity, means, and a whole lot of that. That's why you find out that not many women have the capacity to win, but many women have the professional competence and integrity to turn things around. Most Nigerian women are up there, well educated, highly cerebral. Some of them, not many of them are involved in serious corruption, so they have the capacity to change things. But unfortunately, the considerations of the voters, because there are voters in the political party system who are delegates at times. Of late, we are now having what is called direct primary and all that. So the voters, the electorates in a political party consider winnability. Winnability include popularity, resources, religious background, sectional background, a whole lot of things, and also what they call zoning. It may not be, built into the constitution of political parties, but there is no way you say that zoning is not a key factor. Nigerians feel that if one particular part of the country or one particular part of the state have been producing governor, president for a very long time, after a while it should go to the other. So these are some of the considerations but if you look at it generally, we have not been able to produce a president who is a woman, a vice president, a woman, a governor who is a woman, but we've been able to get deputy governors who are women. We have members of the National Assembly, both Senate and House of Representatives, who are women. And besides, there are also some of these women who have beat some men hands down in election. Some of them have been re-elected a number of times. There are many of them, So the issue of women participation is still something Nigerians are struggling to grapple with, and it has a lot of its basis on the economy of the nation, the economy of the women, and some of our social cultural beliefs. At times Nigerians feel that a woman should not be very late out in the night. There are certain things a woman may not do and all that. But some women who have come out to try their hands in it, some of them have been very successful. In that case, it has encouraged more women to participate. Like in 2019 election, I've seen a whole lot of women participating. We have the not too young to run bill passed, and you see a whole lot of young people running for various offices, including the office of president. And because of what former President Goodluck Jonathan did in 2015, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, for somebody to willingly hand over power when he feels he has lost the election without going to court, without any challenge. He raised hope to Nigerians, both the young Nigerians and Nigerians in the diaspora. That's why you find out that more than 50% of the new political parties are from the people from the diaspora. More than 50% of current presidential candidates are people who came in from the diaspora, who feel that, Nigeria is ripe, where it doesn't matter whether the power of incumbency is not going to matter anymore. So I think Goodluck Jonathan his name should be written in Sands of Time as one man who has made it possible to open the system. People are now interested. They like so many of them, without mentioning names, and most of them are very intelligent. Most of them are capable. I think kudos to Jonathan for giving us hope.
All right, talking about intelligence and great ideas from young people and also people that came in from diaspora because of the election of 2015.
Yeah.
Looking at the presidential debates, before we talk about leadership, presidential debate that happened on Saturday, we had brilliant mindset, we had good ideas.
Yeah.
Do you think Nigerians will even give these young people the opportunity or these ideas, looking at what 2015 exposed Nigeria to?
Yes, they will give them the opportunity. They will vote for some of them, but that's what I call winnability. Winning election is not about intelligence. Winning election is not about popularity. Winning election goes beyond that. There are a whole lot of things involved in winning an election. It's not the man that speaks better grammar that wins. It's not the man that is more popular that wins. It's not the man with the biggest bags of money that wins the election. There are a lot of intricate things that are involved, including political strategy and all that. There are certain things I want to talk about, like for instance the name of a party. There are some of those political parties, you know the face of the presidential candidates, but you don't know the name of the political party. If you know the name of the political party, you may not even know the name of the logo of that political party. These are some of the things. And structure is important. Even in America, where they have precinct captains at polling units, structures is the key. People vote according to structures to a very large extent. We have not reached a stage where you just see somebody on television and he performed very well, you just cast your vote. There are a whole lot of things that are put into consideration. In America, there are too many political parties, more than times two of what we have today in Nigeria. But the most talked about political parties are the Democratic and the Republican parties, and their presidential candidates are the people that matter. Whereas there are other people who are younger. There are other political parties who may be small. Their presidential candidate may have very beautiful ideas, but to win election is a different thing. It's a different ballgame. Unless you're in the system, you may not understand.
Okay, unless you're in the system, you may not understand what it means to win elections.